Open the gates, please.
That is the line between east and west. Cross it and die.
For this, I condemn you to death!
Salve galera, aqui quem fala é o Vinácido e hoje a gente está aqui de volta com mais um gameplay de Horizon Forbidden West, esse jogo exclusivo para o PlayStation, galera. No gameplay anterior a gente fez mais algumas missões secundárias aqui na região de Ocácia e também jogou aqui o jogo da Batalha das Máquinas aqui em Minéria, turma. A gente tem algumas coisas para fazer nesse gameplay para que a gente possa dar continuidade à nossa missão principal. E é claro, como sempre, a gente vai abrir aqui nosso menu das missões e vai dar uma olhadinha aqui no que a gente pode fazer nesse momento. Vamos lá. A gente tem algumas coisas legais pra gente realizar aqui nesse gameplay, turma. Beleza. Tá, vamos começar fazendo as jogadas que a gente tem aqui para fazer no tabuleiro, né, turma? Bem aqui. Tem uma moça aqui que joga pra caraca, turma. Aqui, vamos lá. Vamos fazer.
Welcome back.
Vai ser bem secundarião aqui agora. Tutorial sobre terreno e empurrão. Vamos fazer. Bora. Já aproveita esse momento, se você não é inscrito, se inscreve no canal, dá aquele like e não se esquece de ativar as notificações para ficar por dentro de todos os vídeos aqui do canal do Vinácido. E se você gosta de Horizon Forbidden West, fique esperto que vai aparecer aí no canto superior direito uma playlist para você conferir os outros gameplays aqui do canal, beleza?
You compare its combat power to yours. The higher your machine's combat power, the more damage you can do. So finding the right terrain is an essential strategy for overpowering your opponent. Here, I'll show you.
Bora. Ela tá num terreno de grama.
To attack my machines.
Tá, um cavador. Use para movê-lo pelo tabuleiro e a parte X para selecionar uma máquina.
Now let's take a look at your machine's combat power. Combat power is the sum of a machine's attack power and the value of the terrain it's standing on. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's also standing on forest terrain with a value of 1 point. Add those together and your machine has 3 points of combat power. My machine is standing on grassland terrain with a value of 0 points. It's also not attacking, which means their attack points aren't in play. So my combat power is 0. This means your machine can do 3 points of damage. Go ahead and test it out.
Bora.
There you go. Now, choosing the right terrain doesn't just improve your offense. It can also help defend your machines from attack. Grab your other piece and place it in front of my second machine. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's standing on grassland terrain. This
Não dá nada.
has a value of 0. This means your machine's combat power adds up to 2 points. My machine can't use their attack power since they're defending their position. But they have the higher ground. They're standing on forest terrain, which is worth 1 point. This means my combat power adds up to 1 point. Now, the front of my machine is colored blue. This means that the spot you're about to attack has armor protecting it. Which means my machine gets an extra point, giving it a total of 2 combat power points. If we compare the combat power of both machines, you'll see that you won't be able to do any damage. Whenever you're unable to top an opponent's combat power, you can still choose to attack and break their machine's defenses instead. Go ahead, try it out and see what happens. Ha, see? When you break a machine's defenses, you can knock it backwards. Sure, both our machines
Interessante
have
isso.
1 point of damage. But knocking my machine off that terrain makes it more vulnerable to attacks. Not only that, if my machine had been blocked from moving backwards, it would have received an extra point of damage. And if my machine had been blocked by another one of my pieces, that machine would have received damage as well. That's why breaking a machine's defenses is a great way to deal damage to several pieces at once. Useful, right?
Legal.
Okay, now go ahead and end your turn. There's still...
Vamos. Sem enrolation também, né, moça?
As we've seen, the higher the terrain, the more it'll add to your machine's combat power. However, there are 2 other terrains that work a little differently. This is what we call a chasm. Only flying machines can be placed on those. But it'll take away 2 combat points if you do, so be wary. This is marsh terrain. Landing on it will take away 1 combat power point from most machines. It'll also keep your machine from moving for the rest of the turn. Here, let me show you. Grab that machine on your left. See? All you can do now is wait for your next turn to move again. Or you can overcharge your machine to get out of there. You can still attack any nearby enemies so you're not completely helpless. Well, I think that's enough yammering from me for now. Promise it'll all come in handy next time you play.
Boa, boa. Tipos de máquinas e habilidades. Vamos lá.
Here for more tips? Why don't I tell you a bit more about the pieces we used to play? In a normal game, you get to choose which machines you place on the board. Each one is worth a certain number of setup points, and you can spend up to 10 assembling your army. Knowing what each machine brings to the game and building an army that matches your strategy is the key to becoming a machine strike master. When assembling your army, there are a few things to keep in mind. First and foremost, you can never have more than 4 of the same machine on the board at the same time.
Tá bom, beleza.
With that in mind, most players would choose machines based on how far they can move or how much attack power they have. But a real strike player will be looking at a machine's type and skills. Let's take a quick look, shall we? Pick up that machine on your left. All right, let's talk about the different ways in which a machine
Não tem habilidade.
components. In other words, it's machine type. If you look at your notes, you'll see this machine here is a melee type. You can also
Corpo a
tell
corpo.
by the shape of the base the piece stands on. A melee type machine attacks the first enemy within range, and no one else. We've seen this plenty of times, so just move that piece forward so I can show you some more stuff. Great, now grab your other machine.
Tipo, atirador.
Looks like we've got ourselves a gunner type machine here. This means they'll only hit the farthest enemy in their attack range. Let's move that machine forward and end your turn so we can take a look at the rest of the pieces.
Beleza.
Let's go with this piece first. This is a ram type machine. Attack an enemy with it, and
Ariete.
it'll push the piece backwards.
Ah,
See, now my machine has taken over your machine's spot on the board. This is a great way to take the advantage away from your opponent if they have the higher ground. Looks like we have one more piece to look at. Now this is a beautiful
arrancada.
a dash type machine. When it attacks, it'll move to the end of its attack range and damage every machine in its path, including your own. So make sure you take a good look at the board before you send it off to the races.
Entendeu.
You should
Vai,
also
todo
make sure
mundo
it's
da
not
linha vai
able to
machucar.
attack on an empty spot. Otherwise, you won't be able to attack at all. Here, I'll show you. Look, it even rotated your piece. A nifty little piece you'll definitely want in your set. If you look at your notes, you'll notice this particular machine has one of the skills I mentioned before. There's quite a few of those, and we haven't
Que é o
even looked at
galopar.
the machine types yet.
Entendi.
But I'm pretty sure you've got more important things to do, so I made you a list. It's got all the tips and tricks we talked about, too. I think that about does it for now, so if you want to play a real game, just let me know.
Fechou. Obrigado, bem. Vamos lá. Desafios, treino de iniciante fácil. Bora. Vamos iniciar.
Here we go.
Tenho 2 cavadores só.
I'm up. Board's all yours. Just one piece left.
Vamos lá.
Sure dampens the forge.
Aqui eu vou ficar
Let's see.
protegido.
Your move, Red. Thank the forge you hit armor. Oh,
Foi.
glad I had that one.
Boa, garoto. Treino de iniciante médio.
Good luck. That's it. for
Bora.
me. I'm up.
Tá. Nossa, parça.
Board's all yours. That was brutal. My turn. That's it for me. Time to make my move.
Bora ver. E aí?
You're up, Red. You are on a roll. Well, that's done now. Time to get serious.
Ai, meu Deus, só falta.
Board's all yours. That was a surprise. A single machine.
Boa.
That ain't good.
Vamos lá, vamos lá, vamos lá, vamos lá. Vai dar certo.
You got me down to one piece. I am impressed. Now that
Foi.
is a game. Even if
Aí
I'm
sim! Bom, galera, a gente conseguiu essas duas primeiras no médio. O médio pra mim já foi difícil, imagina o difícil. Então a gente tenta mais tarde vir aqui fazer essa vitória em cima dela, beleza? Beleza, vamos lá. Vamos seguir o nosso gameplay fazendo a seguinte missão, ó. Esse aqui, Sombra no Oeste. Bora lá. Vamos fazer o Sombra no Oeste, turma! Deixa eu ver no mapa aqui, onde que tá o Sombra no Oeste. Meu Deus, não dá pra fazer, turma. A gente vai ter que fazer a Embaixada. Então, antes de fazer a Embaixada, vamos fazer o seguinte. Campo de caça. Bora lá no campo de caça. O campo de caça tá aqui. Vamos tentar ter uma tela transportada até lá. Bora. Beleza, chegamos. Vamos ver o que a gente vai fazer aqui. Aquele save rápido, né?
Ready to practice your hunting skills, huh?
Tô prontíssimo.
Thanks for stopping by.
Bora.
Hey, Red. What can I get for you?
Vamos lá, a gente tem as armas aqui pra comprar, né? Tá.
Thanks for stopping by.
Negociar com o escultor de ataque. Falar com o guardião do campo. O que é negociar com o escultor de ataque, cara? Peças de ataque cavador. Usado em ataque das máquinas é uma peça... Ah, pra gente comprar as pecinhas. Pra poder jogar o jogo de tabuleiro que a gente jogou agora há pouco. Beleza.
You won't find trials like these anywhere.
Mais pra frente, mais pra frente. Tá, vamos lá. A gente tem teste de laceração. Não concluído. Arranque e colete baterias de chupim. Dicas do guardião de campo. Use seu foco para marcar a bateria de um chupim e acompanhar a posição dela. Use armas e munição que causam dano de laceração para remover componentes. Use arco de guerreiro de choque ou armadilha de choque para deixar a máquina em estado de choque e imobilizada. Dessa forma fica mais fácil arrancar peças. Use os recursos obtidos e baterias para montar munição de choque. Quando uma máquina morre, não é mais possível arrancar componentes. Tá, beleza. A gente entendeu aqui, mas vamos ver se nossos equipamentos estão preparados para isso.
Vigilant in your travels, Savior.
Vamos ver aqui. Temos armadilhas de choque, temos o pacote de flecha leve de choque. Tá. Explosivo. Corda de mobilização.
Savior.
Tá, vamos fazer do jeito que a
Let me
gente
know what
tá?
you need.
Vamos. Tá, recompensa de quarto de divisa, recompensa de meia divisa, recompensa de divisa inteira. Ah, ali, ó. Divisa inteira é 1 minuto e 30. Quarto de divisa é 10 minutos. Vamos lá.
Go down the ropes, and I'll start.
Baterias coletadas.
Exploring cauldrons might teach me how to override these things.
Ai! Cara, eu acho que vai dar ruim, hein? Bateria de chupim, Foi. Foi. E aí? Não foi, não é tão difícil, turma.
Your reward, Savior.
As 3, ó, divisa inteira, obter recompensas. Recompensas de quartos de divisa, de meias divisas e de divisas inteiras. Garoto! Beleza. Prova de choque. Vamos ver. Sobrecarregue a bateria de um chupim com munição de choque para eletrocutar máquinas ao redor. Atingir uma bateria com munição de choque causa uma explosão que eletrocuta as máquinas ao alcance. Use o arco de guerreiro de choque para atingir a bateria de um chupim e sobrecarregá-la perto de outras máquinas. Use munição de choque contra máquinas para ativar o estado de choque e imobilizá-la dessa forma. Fica mais fácil arrancar peças. Tá. A gente tem aqui...
Remain vigilant in your travels, Savior.
Beleza.
Even the Savior of Meridian can use some hunting practice once in a while.
Vamos ver. 3 minutos a gente tem. Vamos lá, vamos iniciar a prova. Vamos, já era.
Grounds are all yours. Just use the ropes to jump in.
Ó, a bateria no bumbum dele. Fale novamente com o Brody. Eu acho que já deu certo. Boa, vamos lá.
A reward well earned.
Foi, turma! Garoto! Aí sim! Boa, turma! Vamos continuar, mas antes disso a gente precisa pegar mais coisas na nossa caixa. A gente tem uma caixa aqui com as nossas coisas. É aqui, ó. Abrir depósito, reabastecer todas as categorias, daí a gente cura e a gente cura de novo. Ó, já foi. Agora a gente abre e reabastece mais uma vez. Beleza. Tá. Vamos ver qual que é o próximo.
Even the Savior of Meridian can use some hunting practice once in a while.
Esse aqui foi. Prova de choque e armadilhas. Use armadilhas ambientais do campo para eliminar máquinas em estado de choque. Dica do guardião de campo: use seu foco para encontrar armadilhas de campo. Use munição de choque contra máquinas para deixá-las no estado de choque. Nesse estado, as máquinas ficam imóveis. Use o arco do guerreiro de choque, é uma armadilha de choque para eletrocutar. Use o que aprendeu nas provas anteriores para conquistar a vitória. Vamos ver o tempo. A gente tem 3 minutos. Fechou, então já era. Beleza, vamos lá, vamos lá, vamos lá, vamos lá. Vamos ter que usar aqui a armadilha natural aqui. Foi um. Vai.
Overloading the system.
Mais um. Só mais um. Caramba, é aqui. Vem cá. Vem. Vem, Arete, vem! Pô, cara, vem, vem. Foi? Foi, garoto! Eu acho que deu tempo. Ai, não morre não, morre não, morre não. Foi, acho que foi, turma. Ai, sim!
You did well. A reward well earned.
Boa, galera! Todas as recompensas, turma. Continua. Ó, fizemos todos desse campo de caça aqui do vão, galera. Fechou. Cara, tamo perfeito aqui. Só falta fazer algumas jogadas aí de tabuleiro, mas eu acho que ainda não tá muito na hora. Eu vou até comprar algumas peças de tabuleiro aqui. E aí vou seguir com a missão principal. Aí, ó, conseguimos fazer as 3 aqui. Ganhamos até um troféuzinho, turma. Ah, não é esse brother aqui não, não é esse brother aqui não. É esse brother aqui que vende as peças. Vamos lá. Qual que é os preços? Comprei. Bora comprar tudo. O bagulho deve ser raro, velho. Comprei geral. Comprei todas as peças de tabuleiro aqui. Mas, para agora a gente seguir, a gente vai fazer a embaixada, turma. Ou seja, vamos seguir a missão principal do game. Vamos lá. Ah, vamos pegar e vamos de ariete aí. Vamos de ariete.
Spotted.
Os monstrengos estão tudo aqui. Pô! Vamos chamar nosso bichinho. Cadê? Vem cá, bebê. Vai, corre, 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 corre. Não se estabana, não. Tranquilo, é só correr. Vamos lá. Tá na hora de começar a nossa embaixada. Tem alguma missão secundária aqui? Nada. Mas tem ali jogo de tabuleiro, que a gente vai fazer depois, claro. Qual que é do Aaron? Vamos ver. A gente viu ele no gameplay anterior, mas não falou com ele.
That's our cue.
Taking the edge off?
Oh, if the end of the world's coming, I don't be sober for it. Now let me guess. You're in a rush, right? So whatever you need, ask away.
How have things been since I...
Your silent departure? Yeah, not bad. Vanguard's going strong. Helped Avad pick up the pieces after the battle with the Eclipse. I took a month to bury Ursa in the claim. But when I got back, I got the assignment to babysit Wadis on his way to the embassy. I thought
Nossa, que dó ficar cuidando desse cara, velho. Cara mais chato do game.
Wasn't your fault.
A couple more of these, maybe I'll believe you.
Tá, e Ersa?
I was, wondering if you were able to lay Ursa to rest, like you wanted.
Yeah, we did. Just assumed the crowd that showed up to pay their respects. Half of them owed her a favor, and the other half owed her their lives. In the end, everybody drank. You know, it's the rowdiest funeral since ever.
Feels like she would have liked that.
Yeah, damn straight. Damn straight. She would have put them all under the table.
Ô, Cássia.
What do you know about this place?
Well, nothing good. It's where the Carja dragged all the captives they took from the Forbidden West during the Red Raids. Lucky ones became slave labor. The rest were hauled off to the submarine in Meridian.
Your sacrifice.
You got it. Tanakh made sure to wreck the place before they chased the Karja out of the west. I can't say I blame them. And now Avad's paying the Osram to rebuild it. No matter how much new stone they put up, it'll still be stained in blood.
E a embaixada, meu rei?
What do you know about the embassy?
Oh, yeah, not much. Only that Avad really wants it to happen. He said I'm making peace with these Tanakh. But from what I hear...
Será que vai dar certo, cara, esse tratado de paz aí? Eu acho difícil, hein?
Arrows. So if you're heading their way, be prepared. Things might get ugly real fast.
I'll keep that in mind.
Beleza, até mais.
I better get
Melhoras.
Right, I'll have to do complicated Aloy things. Maybe just don't disappear completely this time.
No promises.
I guess what I'm really trying to say is, if you ever do need me...
I know where to find you. Hopefully sober next time.
Not don't count on it. Be careful.
Boa! Bom, tamo meio que em paz, entre aspas, aí com o Brod, né? Vamos lá, vamos fazer a embaixada, tá na hora.
You've got a thick wall of stone between you and the Tanakh.
Are you in charge around here?
Ah, apologies, no. That would be Commander Nozar. I'm Lawan, his second in command.
Salve, Luan!
What brings Aloy of the Nora to Barren Light?
I'm here for the embassy. I need it to happen so I can head west. And maybe now that Studious Wadis is here, we can finally get things underway.
Ah, yes, the Sun Priest. Walked in practically kicking and screaming behind his escort. Really seems to like his scrolls. But the embassy remains delayed. Commander Nozar has signaled our readiness, but the Tanakh marshals have yet to sound their horn.
Putz.
All right, fine. Let me through the gates then.
Tá atrasando por causa do outro lado.
I'm sure you do, but I'm afraid I can't. Commander's orders. Normally, the gates are open for any who dare to venture out. Asaram salvagers, a few especially brazen Karja, but no one's allowed in or out before an embassy. They'll reopen, once the Tanakh have left.
Fogo, hein, velho?
So what happens at these embassies, exactly?
Mostly trade and negotiation. The Karja offer tribute of food, spices, and gear. In exchange, the Tanakh return personal effects taken from Karja soldiers that fell during the Red Raids. This particular embassy, however, is a special case.
Because the Tanakh, they're handing over some sort of prisoner, right? A soldier named Fashav?
Ah, so you've heard.
Ouvi, sim, senhor.
The exchange has got everyone on edge. You never know if an embassy's going to go well until it's practically over.
Delegados Tanakh.
You said something about Tanakh marshals. Who are they?
They're the tribe's elite warriors. Before every embassy, they arrive with a contingent of soldiers from each of their 3 clans. Then, during the proceedings, they negotiate on behalf of their leader. And by negotiate, I mean stare down our Sun Priest until they concede. Baev over here came face to face with them for the first time at the last embassy. Came back drenched in his own sweat.
It was hot that day, sir.
It was indeed.
Vamos lá. Cadê o Nozar?
Where is this Commander Nozar, then? If he's the one keeping the gates shut, I'll convince him to open them for me.
I'll take you to him, but I have to warn you. The commander isn't one to break protocol, especially when he's already high-strung.
We'll see about that.
Bora lá, então.
This way.
There's a lot of activity going on around here.
The Tanakh tore down this place during the Red Raids. 2 years of labor, and we still have
Lugar onde guardavam escravos, né?
stoppage and change
Tem porquê.
in our rebuilding efforts. But I hear a certain Nora got them back to work.
I was just helping out.
Yes, well, I'm sure Ulvund was thrilled. Stand aside, soldier.
Sir?
Bora.
There's the commander. Better brace yourself. And good luck.
Os caras tá botando medo na gente, turma. Qual é? Nossa, a gente vai dar a nossa primeira olhada no Oeste Proibido. Nossa, tio.
With a tribe that can't even govern their own people.
What more can you expect from barbarians? Ah. Aloy, was it?
Yes.
Exatamente.
Cleared the valley for you? That Aloy.
We appreciate your service. At least we are ready for the embassy to begin.
Didn't you just give the signal?
Both sides must signal readiness. Until the Tanakh sound their horn, we wait.
Yea, for as the first shall be...
Shut up. Why the delay?
The Tanakh are a tribe composed of 3 clans. How many banners do you see?
You're just gonna wait? Go find out what's wrong.
Oh, this isn't some forgotten corner of the East where you come from, Nora. It's the Forbidden West. If you don't like it, run back to Meridian, file a complaint.
The Meridian I saved, you mean?
That's right. Nobody walks to the gate until the 3rd clan arrives and the Tanakh's horn has sounded. Not even the savior of Meridian.
Well,
thanks, but I've waited long enough. It's time to go.
Absolutely not. This embassy depends on diligent adherence.
Tchau.
You shall not!
Keep telling yourself that.
Someone approaching! On a machine!
Quem é? Brawl? Nosso amigão.
Open the gates, please.
Do not let her through that gate! That is a direct order!
Sorry, can't do it.
Tá tentando evitar que ela vá?
It's the savior! I don't care if the Dowager Queen herself! The gate is sealed, so that horn blows!
I'm asking nicely.
I don't know what to do.
Hey, Varl.
Hi, Aaron. What's happening?
You know, the usual. Aloy wants something. People try to stand in her way. It's not gonna work.
Arrest her!
I'd like to see you try.
Supporting fire?
Yeah, I'm locked and loaded. Hey, Nozar! You stupid bastard. You think you got the authority to keep that door shut?
Tá travado, maluco.
What do you think Sun King Avad is gonna do when he hears what you did? Promote you, huh? Let her through, boys. Saving the world.
Garoto, valeu, brodinho!
Forget something back in Meridian?
Look, Varl.
It doesn't matter. Made it just in time.
Putz, cara, você vai se arriscar, hein, irmão? Você vai se arriscar. Galera!
Told us about the Tanakh.
Falamos tchau pra embaixada. Falamos tchau. Tô nem aí.
Kill me the whole time.
But this embassy hasn't started yet. We're just gonna barge in?
Just no more politics. No more delays.
Oh well. Now at least you have some backup.
I guess I do. We'll see how it goes.
Tá, beleza. Vamos ver o nosso mapa. A embaixada vai até o local da embaixada. Bora. Vamos lá, Brawl. Eu acho que você vai morrer no caminho, mas beleza. Se passa, você morre aqui já. Olha os caras já estão casca, mano. Os caras já estão treta, tio. Olha a cara da Aloy. Tá casca também. Os caras são bem tribal, hein?
East and West. Cross it and die.
Hold on now. Let's take it easy.
None may walk this valley until our signal sounds. That was our accord with the Karja.
I'm not Karja. I came here on my own to ask for rite of passage.
But they opened the gate for you, did they not? What is the meaning of this violation?
Why send a child? Do they want to parlay or not?
The Karja can't be trusted. This is known.
Forget the Karja. This has nothing to do with them. I need to go west to save lives. Maybe even yours.
The only lives you can save are your own. By turning back. Now.
Hold!
Esse é que manda mesmo?
The truth about one thing. She's not Karja. She's a Nora from the Savage East. And if she seeks to save lives, should we not listen? Let me speak to her. One last favor for a fellow marshal before he's taken away.
O cara ficou meio puto, não quer não, mas beleza.
A fearless, red-headed Nora. You must be the so-called savior of Meridian.
Just Aloy.
I am unyielding for shock. Once of the Karja High Command, last of the army of the setting sun. You'll have to forgive my comrades. Tensions are high. This embassy is a delicate affair. They're about to return me to the Sundom, a gesture that might help
Fachada, velho.
grievances. And now you arrive, unheralded.
I'm not here to cause trouble. I just need to go west.
So you say. I might be able to help, but I need to know why. Along with some assurance that I won't regret it.
Beleza, vamos saber das tatuagens, porque nosso foco é assim, turma.
I've never seen markings like those on a Karja before.
The Karja see ink as decoration. For the Tanakh, it is much more. A litany of deeds. A record of vanquished enemies.
Looks like you vanquished quite a few.
I've fought my share of battles. But I feel that my life, like my markings, is only half complete. This side shows my martial deeds. Before I die, I'd like to see the other half marked with the laurels of peace.
Você e os Tanakh.
How did you come to be among the Tanakh?
It's quite a story, but not a quick one. Though I suppose neither of us is going anywhere before the embassy begins. Are you sure you want to hear it?
Eu quero, pô, tô aqui pra isso.
I guess we have time.
Very well. I marched with Sun King Jiran's raiders when they came west, hoping to moderate their worst impulses. I failed, of course. They committed unspeakable atrocities, stirring the Tanakh into action. When the clans overran our forward encampment at Cinnabar Sands, I stayed behind to help the last stragglers evacuate. I was taken prisoner. I didn't make it easy for my captors, mind you. And they paid me back in kind on the journey to their capital. I lost so much blood on the way that I was white as a corpse when they threw me before Chief Hikaro. I thought I was dead for sure, so I resorted to desperate measures.
So when you met the Tanakh chief, you did something desperate.
I'd kept my ears open as the Tanakh dragged me along, and I heard mutterings about a kind of trial by combat that they revere. So,
ele ganhou do guerreiro?
did this right, called the Kurut.
Do chefe.
Thinking that by winning I could request a boon, my life or even my freedom. The other Tanakh howled, but Hikaro stared them down, and then his gaze fell upon me. Evidently, he appreciated my ingenuity. He allowed me to participate in the Kurut. Little did I know what I was in for.
You said the Kurut is a Tanakh trial by combat.
Yes, but it is no ordinary trial. It doesn't pit men against each other, at least not directly. Instead, the combatants fight machines in a great arena, and only the strongest survive. Believe me, it is no easy thing to stare down a charging machine while hundreds around you scream for blood.
I know more about that than you might think.
Do you? Well, then you have my respect. Like you, I lived through it to claim my prize. I had hoped for freedom, but well, that wasn't on offer. Only service to the chief.
You wound up
Tô
saying
entendendo.
it's not the chief.
The winners of the cool route must serve the chief as his marshals.
You mentioned that word before. What does it mean?
The word itself refers to a kind of protective spirit from the ancient past. In practice, marshals are Hikaru's roving lawgivers, part magistrate, part judge, part executioner. I won my place among their ranks and served as honor demanded, but many Tanakh still spat on the ground when I walked by. But they did, until I started forcing them to the ground to grind their faces in it.
I guess that's one way to deal with it.
As you may have noticed, violence is the native tongue of the Tanakh. To survive, one must master it. The truth is, though, the Karja speak it too. More than they should. I can't blame the Tanakh.
Isso é verdade.
So then, are you still Karja?
Part of me, yes. Always. But there is much to admire about the Tanakh, especially their chief. I've heard stories about what it was like before his reign. 3 clans always at war, constantly slitting each other's throats. Hikaru and the marshals have crafted a delicate peace, and now he looks to the future. Who knows? Maybe that future will include cooperation with the Karja.
The Karja talk about Hikaru as if he's a monster.
The Karja feel compelled to demonize him if only because he swept them from the field. It is true that he is fearsome. When I was first taken before him, I thought he would flay me alive. But he is no bloodthirsty tyrant like the Mad Sun King was. I think that if you were forced
Parece que toda história tem dois lados, né, turma?
you would find that he only wants the best for his people. I hope you do speak to him. I'm sure you'd interest him. So, that's my story. You're the first Easterner to hear it, but not the last. The Karja need to know what I have learned.
Yeah. The way you talk about the Tanakh is a lot different than how they do.
Com certeza.
Are you glad to be going back to Meridian?
Oh, I'll admit that I wouldn't mind sleeping in a feather bed or sipping wine from the southern vineyards. But I have another goal in mind. As someone who knows the Tanakh and the Karja, I'm in a unique position to advocate for both. If Sun King Avad is amenable, my hope is to establish a lasting peace.
The Tanakh don't seem that peaceful.
They're not, as a rule. But these are difficult times. Chief Hikaru knows that survival often requires change, even if that change means putting aside centuries of war.
Tá.
You asked why I need rite of passage. I'll tell you, but you won't like my answer. 6 months ago, the world almost ended in Meridian. That threat still exists. It's getting worse every day, much worse. Calling down storms, poisoning the water, enraging the machines. The source of it all has gone west, and I'm the only one who can stop it.
I've seen the signs, and I've heard tales of incredible occurrences in Meridian, an army of demons vanquished by a red-haired champion. So I'm inclined to believe you. The burden of your task is written across your face clearer than any mark of mine. I'll grant you this, to serve as proof of your right to travel into Tanakh lands. A task so important, and it's just the two of you. Take it from one who aspires to be a diplomat. Allies are essential. Chief Hikaru knows the West better than anyone. He may be able to help you. He can be intimidating to others, but don't let that deceive you. He is a man of his word.
Maybe. If I need him.
Your choice.
Eu acho uma boa ideia.
At his palace, past the mountains to the southwest. Tell him I sent you, and he'll listen to
Look! The Sky Clan's banner.
Boa, chegou mais um. Só vai piorando.
Marshals. It wasn't easy, but I brought the Sky Clan with me.
And the commander?
No. I could only convince a few. He isn't yet aware we left.
We have banners from all 3 clans. If there are fewer from the Sky Clan, it can't be helped.
He's right. Sound the horn.
Boa, vai começar, turma.
I can stomach the idea of parley with the Karja, but enough have come for us to begin.
Then I'll be on my way.
No, the other marshals will not permit it. You wanted safe passage, you have it. After the embassy.
Tem que esperar um pouco, minha filha. Eu acho que o Valdez vai morrer, esse chatão aí. Vamos ver.
The Karja have opened the gates.
As the sun rises over a land at war, so too can it set over a land at peace. Today is such...
Que é isso, velho?
Hear me, marshals! You who claim to be Tanakh!
Regala. Chief Akaro's biggest mistake. A rival whom he should have killed.
You have forgotten that our people were born in blood. The blood of the Karja. Instead, you pledge your spears to a chief who conspires with the enemy. Hikaru has betrayed us. The embassy is proof. And all of you marshals are his accomplices. For this, I condemn you to death.
You'll need more than toothless threats to intimidate us. Exile.
Ah, meu Deus, deu ruim. Ih!
Lancers, form up!
Caraca, irmão. O negócio tá ficando top.
They're riding machines.
Where'd they learn to do that?
Silence.
Silence. É o cara.
Come with us now, or not at all.
Archer,
Ele vazou, mano.
light them up! Get to cover!
Rapaz, vai dar treta, tio.
Archers, keep them back!
Nossa, deu muito ruim na embaixada, turma.
Run them down!
Bora tretar! Tô pronto!
They're not gonna make it.
Open the gates! Open the gates! Open the gates!
Falei?
Karja!
Aí sim, turma!
Fire at will! I don't have a shot!
Olha os caras, tio! O cara é feroz, hein, parça?
What happened? Can you see?
It's just us now.
Hey! Calm down and fight fair! Lancers! Take the center! Get ready!
Bora, turma! Aí sim!
Archers on the ridge!
Caraca, irmão, que irado.
Here they come!
Cadê eles? Bora, 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 bora.
Kill them all! No! Oh! The mount's down, but not the rider! Having fun, Aloy? Ammo for you. Now they're scared.
Boa.
Concentrate your fire!
Garoto!
You got no mouth! Cut them all down!
Ah!
Another one! Down, down! Man down!
Morreu.
Give them cover! Finish that rider!
Boa! Garoto! Estamos sobrevivendo, turma! Aí sim! Caraca, esse gameplay tá muito louco, tio! O Crescivão tá morrendo, velho! O cara é forte, hein, velho? Nossa, velho.
Just you and me now, Varl.
We've survived worse!
Boa.
Enough! You, Outlanders! I'll skin you both!
Vem, cai dentro, parça.
Grant me the honor of this challenge.
Granted.
Garoto, é boss. Só vamos, irmão, só vamos. Ah, meu Deus, eu quero uma dessas já! O Vral vai morrer e eu não tô nem aí, turma.
You're next, girl.
I've never seen a shield like that. Better scan it. Much better. I can break through a shield if I damage it enough. Gotta get through that shield.
Nossa, parça.
There! Now's my chance!
Boa!
Give it up! Shield regenerated! Break his guard. Shield's gone. He's vulnerable.
Se ferrou, irmão. Deu muito ruim pra você. Isso sim. Aqui é Aloy, parça.
Your turn.
Nem suou.
Come down here and face me.
No! It was an honorable challenge. You've earned your life today. Comrades, mark this day. Today you have decimated the marshals, slaughtered the Karja. So begins our war on Hikaru. Move out.
É uma guerra que tá aí no oeste, na verdade, né? Contra o chefão aí do oeste que uniu os clãs. Mas essa turma aí que tá com o Silence aí tá bem equipado, hein, velho, com as máquinas. Os caras sobreviveram, mano? Ah, um deles. O cara perdeu o braço, velho.
You gonna make it?
Dando trabalho já, né, bro?
You're going on without me, aren't you?
Certeza.
Guess I'm stuck with Aaron. For now.
Come on. I'll take you back to the fort.
Sei que o negócio foi barra pesada aí, turma.
I got you.
Baixada deu toda errada, turma. Deu muito ruim. Lugar errado na hora errada. Os comerciantes que queriam ir pra lá, turma.
It's salvage time, boys.
É, turma. Esse é o cara que eu detonei. Vou roubar o escudo dele. Aí sim, turma.
I should be able to use it to glide.
Zelda Breath of the Wild ativado.
Aloy. We're still trying to sort out this mess. Seems like the Tanakh.
Você foi promovido, irmão. Você foi promovido.
That's about right. The marshals weren't expecting Regalla to attack.
And the entire Karja delegation was slain. Nozar, Wadis, Vashav. A massacre. What will you do now?
I have to head west. Hopefully this rite of passage is still good. For what I'm after, I'll cross all of Tanakh's territory if I have to.
then you have a long road ahead of you.
Sim, senhor.
This is only the threshold of the Forbidden West. The Tanakh's true domain lies over the mountains that border Plainsong, home of the Utaru tribe.
This isn't Tanakh's territory?
All that out there? That's no man's land. It was supposed to be neutral ground, though obviously this Regala ignored that. Her rebels approached from the north, with all those machines they were riding. They must have made camp up that way.
The rebels were riding bristlebacks. And there were bristlebacks in the Daunt.
Are you saying the rebels let them into the Daunt?
Tem ideia.
I don't know. But it's worth looking into.
While you're at it, there were a number of Karja and Asuram who went out there before the gates were shut.
Deve ter liberado a nossa missão secundária.
Check in on them. See if they're all right.
I can keep an eye out. Is there a tall neck somewhere nearby?
A tall neck? There's that one, over there, near the Utaru border. But
Ubi Tower, galera. Torres da Ubisoft.
Lay of the land.
If you say so. Is there anything else I can tell you before?
É assim como no primeiro game. Boa. Vamos lá, vamos conversar com o brother.
Fashav called Regala a rival. Someone that Tanakh chief should have killed.
Yeah, I reckon he should have. She's obviously a huge threat. Her attack was coordinated and precise. Until you got in her way, that is.
They knew the lay of the land. And they knew Fashav was going to be handed over at the embassy. If the Tanakh weren't expecting her, she must have spent months gathering an army in secret.
They had to have made camp nearby. Somewhere they could lie low until the perfect moment to strike.
Isso é real.
About Fashav.
The man was taken captive by the Tanakh. Survived for years out in the west, only to die just short of the Sundom. It's a cruel end for a good soldier.
There was more he wanted to do. He spoke of advocating for lasting peace between the Karja and Tanakh.
Too late for that now.
What will happen to him?
His body will be carried back to Meridian. As a cousin of the Sun King, he will be accorded official rights and buried with honor. No soldier could ask for more.
It's too bad about Nazar and Wadis.
At least
pra deles.
As for the Sun Priest, well, no one deserves to go out that way. I'll make sure they're given proper funeral rites. It's the least I can do.
Do you think the Karja will take action against Regala? Seems like you'd have common ground with the Tanakh.
An expedition of the Karja army into the west could be taken at the start of another invasion. Sun King Avad won't risk it. That said, we can't allow ourselves to be caught unaware by an attack like that again.
You said the Tanakh lands are far to the west. What can I expect to find between here and there?
Well, as I mentioned, you've got a stretch of wilderness known as No Man's Land, and then new Utaru farmlands. Past that are the Tanakh. Their territory is split into 3 clans: Desert, Lowland, and Sky.
Right. I saw their banners at the embassy.
The Desert clan is closest. Ooh, vicious lot. Where everyone else sees an inhospitable wasteland, they see a challenge to dominate. Somewhere beyond the desert is the tribe's capital and the territories of the other 2 clans.
You don't sound certain.
I've only heard the stories. During the Red Raids, the Karja army tried to push into Tanakh territory, but the United Clans rose up against them, forced them all the way back to the Daunt.
So no one except the Tanakh really know what's beyond the desert.
Maybe the scholars do, back in Meridian. All those scrolls have to be filled with something, right?
You said there were others who went out when the gates were open before. Like who?
Well, in addition to the salvagers that just went through, there were a couple of other parties of Asuran delvers. Even saw 2 Karja scholars trekking southwest with an Asuran crew. Not sure if they're exceptionally brave or just foolhardy.
Tenso, hein?
You mentioned the Utaru tribe. Their lands are between here and the Tanakh further west?
That's right. Plainsong is their home. They're a peaceful bunch, at least compared to the Tanakh. More taken to farming than fighting.
It's hard to imagine a bunch of farmers surviving in the Forbidden West.
Make no mistake, they have a fierceness all their own. When the Karja were pushed back during the Red Raids, their warriors chased ours through the burning fields of Plainsong. The Sun King has made several overtures of peace to them as well, but so far, they've declined.
If they're so peaceful, why decline?
Don't know. I heard
É história, né, cara? É história.
Food shortage. You'd think that'd make them open to trade, but no. They just want to be left alone.
This area is no man's land.
That it is. The Tanakh used to attack anyone past Barren Light on sight, but after Avad overthrew the Mad Sun King, he reached out to the other tribes to offer reconciliation. The Tanakh agreed to a neutral border zone as part of the peace talks. Karja and Asuram have been striking out into the area ever since.
But now, it seems like Regalla and her rebel army have moved in.
Well, I'd never call no man's land safe, even in the best of times. The ancient ruins of the Southwest are a testament to that. Remnants of some forgotten war.
Bom, é isso aí. Hora de ir.
To be on my way.
Then I wish you luck. The gates will always be open to you should you wish to return.
Obrigado. Parabéns pela promoção.
Your friends. We'll get them patched up.
Até mais, turma.
Sun watch over you, Aloy. I hope you find what you're looking for.
Obrigadão, irmão. Boa, galera! É isso aí. Esse foi um gameplay surpreendente aí. Várias coisas aconteceram nesse gameplay. A gente achou que ia só ficar jogando aí joguinho de tabuleiro, mas não. Teve várias tretinhas aqui nesse gameplay. E agora a gente tem o planador. O planador é feito de energia, uma tecnologia adaptada das máquinas. Segure o quadrado enquanto estiver no ar para ativá-lo e planar. Aperte bola para parar de planar. Vamos testar? Bora testar! Garoto! Achei irado, turma. Bom, galera, a gente tem muita novidade pro gameplay seguinte, não deixa de conferir, mas a gente vai ficar por aqui com esse gameplay de Horizon Forbidden West. Se você gostou do vídeo, dá aquele like, se você não é inscrito, se inscreve no canal e não se esquece, é claro, de ativar as notificações para ficar por dentro de todos os vídeos aqui do canal do Vinácido, beleza? Vão aparecer as playlists aí no final e se você gostar de alguma coisa, clica aí e confere mais conteúdo aqui do canal, beleza? É isso aí, a gente se vê no próximo.